Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the August 2018 Town of Carmel ZBA meeting. Board members' names are in front of you on the podium. With us is Town Code Enforcement Officer Mike Carnazza and Town Attorney Greg Fulchetti. The way we operate is we'll hear the cases and we will ask questions. I'll swear you in. We'll ask the board for questions and answers or whatever, and we will open it up to the public. Once we open it up to the public and there's no further input, we'll close it. No further input on the topic when prompted. So please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty, and justice for all. Thank you. I just want to remind everyone, too, when you come up to the podium, just speak into the mic as clearly as possible so we can, the meeting's being recorded for minutes, and board members as well. All right, first case tonight is a holdover from last month, and that's number one, Eileen Gaetano, for a variation of section 156-15, seeking permission to retain existing deck and pergola. The property is located at 242 Crane Road, Carmel, New York. Representing is Mr. Schilling. I don't need to swear you in. You'll be speaking, ma'am?
Perhaps.
Let me swear you in just to play it safe. State your name and address for the record.
Sure. My name is Eileen Gaetano. I live at 16 Autumn Ridge Court in Katona, New York.
And I'll swear you in. Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Thank you.
Good evening. I was here last month, as you stated, Mr. Maxwell, so I'll be very brief. The property is 242 Crane, and it consists of about an acre and a half. It's a two-story dwelling with a deck and a pool and a pergola. The deck and the pergola are what we're talking about tonight. The zoning is residential. We're seeking an area variance for the deck and the pergola. It's a minimal variance. The rear yard requirement is 40, and we propose 36 feet 8 inches. So our variance request is 3 feet and 4 inches from the rear yard setback requirement. We've submitted a short affidavit from Eileen setting forth the factual background as we understand it, and a memorandum of law just setting forth the requirements of an area variance. The brief facts are that Ms. Gaetano's late husband, Anton, and Ms. Gaetano purchased the property in '87, built a home. The COs were issued for a deck then and for a house. In 2009, Mr. Gaetano replaced the deck. We think it was on the same footprint, but we're not 100% sure of that, and built the pergola. In 2015, Mr. Gaetano died. And Mr. Gaetano was the keeper of all records. Eileen was not really privy to all of the things that Mr. Gaetano was doing while he was doing them. As I said, the deck was replaced, the pergola was built. We think the deck was on the same footprint. I'd like to pass this around for no other reason than to show you how nicely it's done and how professionally it's done. As I said, this was built in 2009. Mr. Gaetano was an executive, and he didn't build himself. He hired contractors. We think that Mr. Gaetano believed that the contractor got the necessary permits, but we can't be sure. The last time we were here, and the elephant in the room is the pool. Now, the pool was built in 1998 and has a building permit and a CO. And we're not sure how that happened. I've spoken to Michael a number of times about this, and it truly is a mystery to everyone. It encroaches a few feet onto the neighbor's property. The mystery probably died when Mr. Gaetano died, because we don't know how that happened. But nobody goes for a building permit and a CO for a pool unless they think their pool is on their property, and I think that's pretty reasonable to believe. We have had ongoing negotiations with the neighbor. We've sent many correspondence. We proposed a solution, which would involve a lot line change. We are not there yet. We were given a violation letter for the pergola and for the deck. Ms. Catano also had to straighten out a loft situation, which was straightened out with the Board of Health. So we're trying to settle one matter at a time. We don't have the ability to settle the pool matter. I know the policy of the town of Carmel. It's a good one. Don't hear us piecemeal, but we don't have the ability to settle this matter, to bring everything here. We simply don't have that. We are trying. The pool has existed for 21 years on the other neighbor's property. And again, intentions were good. They had to have been good. A building permit was submitted, a CO was issued, and we don't know how, we don't know why. With this variance, if this board will hear this variance alone for the pergola and deck, it is not substantial, it's 3 feet. It's not environmentally sensitive. We're proposing any environmental conditions. There's no change in the neighborhood. It's been there forever. There's no way to obviate the need other than move things that are cemented into the ground. And it's not self-created because, again, we don't know if Mr. Catano thought that the contractor was getting COs. We simply don't know why there aren't COs. But Mr. Catano was a man who, when he built his house, when he put in his pool, when he got his deck, he got COs. There's no COs for this pergola and deck, and it may be that it was because the deck was built, what we believe, on the same footprint.
I think the difficulty is the fact that without a lot line adjustment, and Greg, I'll seek some guidance from you on this, or without an agreement in place, can we adjudicate on the case at hand, which is the pergola and deck, without that being satisfied?
What it's been is generally a policy of the board, is if there's an outstanding violation other than what the relief is being sought, that you make the applicant either cure it or through whatever means, through the building department, or to amend the application to come back for zoning relief before you decide it. This is a little bit different, being that Mr. Schilling's client's going to need the consent of the other party, will need the consent of the other party to get at least partial relief here for that component that deals with the pool from the zoning board. So you're not precluded from dealing with the application that pertains to the pergola. They're going to have to deal with it one way or the other, and either have a boundary line agreement or
Court order.
or a lot line change or some other easement between the parties, and then the applicant's going to have to come back for, provided the pool is not closed or moved, for a 0 lot line variance with respect to each parcel, really. But it needs the consent. So I think it's a little more intricate than the standard thing where you have an application and you have notice of another violation. So you're certainly not precluded from doing it. If you're inclined to hear it, you can.
Okay, so does the board understand that one? Thinking about, I mean, it's not a major variance here, and I've been up to the property. It's beautiful, well-maintained and immaculate.
No, I get it. And of course, the lot line in question isn't going to impact this variance, correct?
Correct.
This is back as opposed to side, okay.
Correct.
And
So, any questions from the board? Questions? All right, is there any input from the public on this application?
I have a couple questions. Why is this coming up now?
The building department issued a violation for the deck and the pergola.
Okay, because I noticed that Mrs. Gaetano said she lives in Katona, but the application says mailing address and the address of the property is in Carmel.
Mr. Gaetano's daughter currently lives in, that's correct?
That's correct. I still own the home, and my kids are living there.
Okay, all right, that's all I had.
Still family.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else? I'll look for a motion to close the
so moved.
second. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
I thank you all.
All right, number 2 tonight, new applications, is Joseph Kokasco for a variation of section 15615, seeking permission to retain existing above-ground pool with deck. Property is located at 198 Route 6N, Mahopac, New York. Okay. Oh,
Was this the one that was held
I'm
over?
sorry. You're right. So they're looking for a holdover, and I don't remember why, but I'll look for a motion.
They
for
couldn't
that.
make it, that's why. So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks for reminding me. All right, number 3, Ralph and Renate Schmidt for variation of section 15615, seeking permission to retain existing shed. Property is located at 79 Breckenridge Road, Mahopac, New York. Come on up.
It just isn't there.
Both going to be speaking? She's doing all the talking?
He picks me.
State your name and address for the record.
Renata Schmidt, 79 Breckenridge Road, Mahopac, New York, 10541.
Everybody tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I will.
Okay, fire away. What are you looking to do here? You got an existing
We're
shed?
looking for a variance for our shed. I'm sure you all have copies because I made like a zillion of them.
Okay, so you need a variance on one side is 11.8, and you need a variance of 3.2 feet, and a 15-foot rear is 4.7 feet existing, and you need a variance of 10.3 feet. Is there any other property you can purchase to make this conform?
No,
How long has the shed been there?
30 years.
30 years. I was there the other night. It looks like it's well-kept and maintained, freshly painted.
You have a picture, don't you? Yeah.
Yeah, I think there is. It's well-screened in the back. Any concerns from your neighbors, any complaints?
Never.
They have no issue with it? How did this come up? It's just,
I don't know, I was looking to get my house in order, like make sure I had all the COs because we built this house, in the 60s. So, and then the shed came up and they said, the shed is too close to the neighbors. So to get a CO for it, I have to get a variance,
okay.
okay?
All right, any questions from the board?
Nope.
Any input from the public on this application? All right, I'll look for a motion to close the hearing.
So moved.
Second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Thank you,
Okay,
folks.
Thank you.
All right, number 4, DeCilio is requesting a holdover as well, I believe. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, right, okay.
so I'll look for a motion.
Motion to hold over?
Do I have a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. Number 5, Nastasi, for variation of section 156-15, seeking permission to construct an addition. Property is located at 251 Bullet Hole Road, Mahopac. Representing tonight, Joel.
Joel Greenberg, 2 Musco Road, North Mahopac, New York.
Joel, just turn the mic to you if you can. Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so
I
help
do.
you God. Thank you.
As you can see from the drawings that I had sent you, Mr. Nastasi is trying to get an addition onto his house. And if you look at the survey, which I have back over here, it's a very odd-shaped lot, and just had a long discussion with Michael about which is the front yard, which is the side, which is the rear yard. And basically, the house, as you can see over here, is very close to the property line, and the porch that we're coming across the front of the house, just this little section, this very small section of the porch encroaches upon the rear yard. Doesn't come any closer than the existing house, but the porch itself is less than the required 40 feet. So it's a very minor variance, just for this little section of the porch. Everything else is, believe it or not, with this odd-shaped lot, is still conforming.
I went there, I tried to find it the other night, and it was after dark, and I just was down that
Well, it's a good thing you didn't, the dog was
Rumble
loose.
Road there. But I Google earthed it and saw it's all backed up and surrounded by woods, so.
Exactly, there were no houses anywheres, either on this side or on this side. The only houses are in that dirt road that leads up to the house off the Bullet Hole Road.
So I don't know if anyone else saw it, but it was,
Yeah, Google mapped it.
there's nothing around it. They've checked with all their neighbors. No issues or
no
concerns?
issues. In
No
fact,
other-
as requested by Michael, I put 2 signs up, one at Bullet Hole Road and one right in front of the property, and obviously the neighbors knew about it. They all got notices, and we had no comments. I checked with Dawn this afternoon to see if anyone had called, and we got nothing.
There's no other property or anything they can buy to bring it into
No.
conformance? Okay.
Yeah, the frontage is all the way, quarter mile up the road, so, up the driveway, so. I asked them to put one down at the bottom so people could find
But,
it.
yeah, Michael suggested that, so
It was a doozy. All right, any input from the board? Any input from the public on this application? I'll look for a motion to close the public hearing on this.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, Joel.
still here.
Stay right
Still
there.
here? All right.
It's the Joel Show.
Joel and Julie show.
I'm doing cleanup today.
All right, application 6 is Scarfone and Elizabeth Sabatini for variation of section 15615, seeking permission to adjust variance of 2015 to 7-foot rear. Property is located 7099 South Lake Boulevard, Mahopac, New York. All right, Joel.
Okay, basically, and I discussed this again with Michael, when I came before the board, as you said, back in 2015, and the variances were all granted. The owner then put the project on hold till a few months ago, and then when I started laying it out in detail with the construction drawings, I realized that I made a mistake when I came before the board. If you can look here, you see the property line does this, and all of a sudden it skews away. And when I requested the original variance, it was to the portion back over here and not over here. So it was my fault. And basically, this is not livable space. This is just an open screen porch. And that's all they're doing. All the other variances stay the same. And so we're just looking to correct what happened in 2015.
All right, we're just not far off from what we approved
No,
last time, so.
it's very close.
Again, no issues with the neighbors, no one's got a concern, I know it backs
No,
up to the
again,
lake.
I spoke to Dawn, nobody called. The sign is up there. I don't know if anyone went, but it's, as you can see, it's extremely well kept, and it's a beautiful piece of property.
Mike, you reviewed it, there's no concerns or anything, right? Okay. Input from the board on this?
Nothing.
Wow, you guys are church Mike.
Do you
all
have
right.
to go back to the DEC about this, or the health?
No.
department?
I went before the environmental board a week ago today, as a matter of fact. And even though there was slight adjustment, I still have to go back and get a new wetland permit. So that's in the process right now.
Okay, no input from the public on this one, right? I'll look for a motion to close the public hearing on this.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
17 minutes, is that a record?
thank you. No, I think we
Stop
did,
talking, it might be.
I think we did 12 minutes one
No,
night.
we've been better than that.
But close, it comes in the second or third. All right, we're gonna go straight through, so,
Once the interest.
yeah, I'm gonna close, no further input from the public on anything, so we will now adjudicate. So on, number 1, Gaetano, do I have a motion?
Motion to grant?
Second?
Second.
Discussion?
No.
Okay, you guys are good? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Granted.
4.
2 is held over.
3's held over. No, 3's good, 4's held over.
Number 3 is Schmidt. Look for a motion.
Motion to grant.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, granted. DeCilio is held over.
Right. God, for small variance, though.
Number 5, Nastasi. I'll look for a motion.
Motion to grant.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Granted. And Scarfone and Sabatini, number 6. I'll look for a motion.
Motion to grant.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, granted. All right, minutes from July 2006, or 26, 2018. I think, Silvio, you weren't
I
here.
have to abstain.
Okay, so I'll look for a motion to accept the minutes of July 2018.
Motion to accept the minutes of July 26, 2018.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Do we
All right,
have to-
everyone, have a
have
good
to-
rest of the summer.
do you have to-
Say again?
Are we going to meet? Do you have to declare
Yeah,
that?
Before we go,
Right.
for the public, I'd like to thank Michael Shores for
Oh, there's
his
that, too.
years of service and serving on the board. This will be his last
will.
meeting, sadly, so we're sorry to see you go, Mike. Good
Thank
luck
you very
on your
much.
future endeavors, and your family wish you success in where you end up.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
All right, that's it. Everyone
that
have a good
mean,
rest of the summer.
John?
We'll see you.
So am I gonna move over
Yeah,
there?
you might get to move over from work. I don't know, we gotta
Hey,
see
Mark,
about that.
I've been here longer than you, and I still sit here. So that's all I gotta say.
Nobody put Silvio in the corner. All right, Joe,